I'm gonna teach you guys how to make the best cookie recipe, actually that I learned from my aunts. It works on many different levels to satisfy cravings, for you, your girlfriend, your mom, your sister, whoever. And you can bake them with anything you have around the house. I'm sure you have these very common ingredients. So let's pan over to that and we'll get into it. Okay, so now that we're in our kitchen here, I have all of our ingredients laid out, so I'm gonna run through the list with you, and then we'll get on to the mixing and the baking in the process, okay? So the first on the list, we have flour, and then shortening, vanilla, baking soda, salt, sugar, brown sugar, butter, eggs, and chocolate chips. And then of course we have our mixing bowl and our whisk and spatula. We'll be baking this on a baking sheet. So at the end of that, we'll get it thrown in the oven and we'll move on to the steps now. All right, so the first step in the process is going to be set your oven to 375 degrees, which I'll do here. All right, and then you're gonna head over back to your ingredients and you're gonna take 1/4 cup of shortening and you're gonna empty that into your bowl here. All right, and then you're gonna take 3/4 cup of butter and you're gonna throw that into your bowl as well. And then you're gonna beat them all together until it gets to a nice consistency, and I'll show you what that consistency looks like, and we'll throw in all the dry ingredients next. All right, so now that you have your butter and your shortening mixed together, you'll have this nice fluffy consistency here. And now we'll add in all of our dry ingredients. So we're going to start with 1 cup of brown sugar here. You'll throw that in there. Oh, and then you'll have 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. You'll throw that in as well. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I just spilled there a little bit, so I'll add a little more in a second. And then 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, which I only have a 1/4 teaspoon measuring thing, so I will be back once it's all mixed together. All right, guys, so this is what your consistency should look like at the end of mixing. And then once you have that step taken care of, you're gonna throw in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So go ahead and pour that in there. And you're gonna put 2 eggs in as well. And then you're gonna mix these together and we will be back with the next step. All right, guys, so at this point you should have a nice liquid texture here in your mixture. And then I went ahead and measured out 2.5 cups of flour into a bigger measuring cup just because it's easier for me to pour. So you're gonna pour this in here little by little, very gradually, and mix it in increments just so you can get the perfect texture. And I'm gonna skip over to that perfect texture right now to show you exactly what it should look like, okay? At this point in the process, you should have a nice thick dough here. This is what it looks like. And you can throw in any kind of topping you want. I like chocolate chips, so I'm gonna throw these in, but you could work with almonds, pecans, anything you like. So then you're gonna fold it over like this until it's all evenly mixed. And then we'll throw it on the baking tray and pop it in the oven. All right, so at this point, I took parchment paper and I laid it out on my baking sheet. And I used 2 spoons to grab the dough, and I rolled it out onto the tray here, and I set them up 2 inches apart, just like that. And now I'm gonna throw it in the oven, remember at 375 degrees for 8 to 9 minutes. And we'll come back and check on them. They should be nice and fluffy by the time they're ready. All right, guys, so this is the final result right here. I just made a batch of 9 cookies for video's sake, but this recipe actually makes around 50. So give it a shot, enjoy, and let me know what you think.